trade deadline is almost here, and Pat Verbeek has some work to do. So I thought it'd be interesting to rank every single Ducks player based on if they should be moved or not. So let's get it started in here. There's truly only one man who deserves to be in the GTFO category. It's the one, the only, Mr. $7 million man, John
Dinkelberg.
Klingberg. This signing has not worked out for both sides. Klingberg signed with the Ducks to show other teams he is worthy of one last big deal, and he fumbled the bag, having his worst season by far. Before the season, this seemed like a great signing. People were saying Klingberg was worth a first-round pick and then some at the trade deadline. But now, I don't even know. A third rounder maybe? If Pat somehow gets a first, GM of the year. But of course, this is actually even harder because he has a 10-team no-trade clause. I'm certain wherever Klingberg goes, he will find some success because he'll be on a team that can help mask his major flaws, because there are a lot of them. He has shown flashes on offense, but defensively, good luck to his next team. And I can't wait till the day this happens, because this bum doesn't even look like he's trying half the time. Freaking pylon. But he's 6'3" and he's 190. How does Z only weigh 5 pounds less than you? Eat some Mickey D's or something. You know, the funny thing is, trading him away actually would make the Ducks better, I think. But anyway, enough about Klingberg. I literally could rant about him forever. On to the players that should be moved. Cooley.
He puts the cool in Kulikov.
I really have no feelings on this man. He's been fine, but he's a UFA on a cheaper deal at $2.2 million, so there's definitely value there. Shaddy.
Kevin Shatton scare.
If you would have asked me the last couple years if I wanted this man gone, he would have been in the GTFO category. But statistically speaking, he has been one of the Ducks' best defensemen this year. Granted, he has been playing in a sheltered role, playing on the third pairing, and honestly, maybe it's because no one can look as bad on defense when you have John Klingberg on the team. But again, he's a UFA with value. Comtois. This just makes me really sad. I feel like ever since he changed his number, he hasn't been the same. 53 Comtois hit different. There's been reports that he's not a hard worker, and I really don't know what to believe, because when he was drafted, he was constantly praised for how much of a hard worker he is. I will say, it's tough to work hard knowing you're not being put in a position to succeed. He needs a change of scenery. It just sucks knowing he'll probably find success for another team, but he clearly doesn't seem happy here, and I think he could provide a spark to a playoff team. Elite #1 center Derek Grant. Mainly, he needs to go because Eakins plays him too much. What would Dallas do without his #1 player? Grant is a solid fourth liner, but he's being played in top line minutes. Hey, maybe that's a good thing.
Hi, I'm Connor Bedard.
Stolars. Dasso has shown he's ready to take more of a role. This makes Stoley the goalie expendable. I'll miss him though. He always seems like a great guy. Next, on to the players that we should move if the price is right. Uncle Rico has gained a lot of interest in trade talks, but the problem is he's actually signed to the end of next year, meaning even if the Ducks retained 50% of his $5.8 salary, it would be hard for playoff teams with tight cap space to make that work. The rumor is he could fetch a second and a third rounder, but at that price, I'd rather have his leadership in the locker room. On top of this, he's now injured, so that makes things even harder. I still can't believe he was on waivers in 2021. Frank the Tank and Stromer. We'll just put these two together, like Eakins did the whole beginning of the season. Both were signed this season, and have been decent signings, so there's no real reason to move them, but both have been mentioned in trade talks. Cam America. Woo! There's just no way he gets moved. He means too much to this organization. That being said, there have been more and more rumors about him, but at the same time, he's the longest tenured Duck, and I don't even know how I'd feel about that. Oh, Gibby. The second winningest goaltender in team history. If he was on an East Coast team a couple years ago, he'd probably have a couple of Vezinas on the shelf. But unfortunately, recently reports have come out that both sides may want to move on. And I'll be pretty sad when that day happens, but I just don't see it happening this trade season. I could see it during the off season, and I know it's gonna happen. I'll miss you, Gibby. Lundy and Sylph could probably be put in the doesn't matter category, but Lunderstrom's still young and is signed for one more year and has shown flashes. Sylph could still provide some solid depth for a playoff team, but he provides a lot of leadership, so I'd rather keep him around. Onto the don't matter, no value category. Boyu might be the only one who comes close in terms of my dislike for them to Klingberg. Carrick probably has the most value in this section just because he's a gritty type of player, but he's also the only real fighter left. Benoit. I really like this man, even though I know a lot of people don't like him, but he plays a physical game, and he has had to carry Klingberg's defensive woes this year. Plus the mullet and the hip checks, chef's kiss. Jones is probably closest Comtois
Okay.
in that he needs a change of scenery, but he wouldn't be worth anything. Plus he is signed for one more year. Magna, Leeson, picked up off waivers. Colton White has shown promise, but he's had limited playing time. Arno Vakanainen, can this guy stay healthy? Oh, that Lindholm trade is killing me. He's dominating for the Bruins, and because he played on the Ducks, we didn't get full value for him. Then obviously, the untouchables. This is pretty self-explanatory. These players are the future, and pretty much the only things that gives us Ducks fans hope. Now, who do I think will actually get moved at the deadline? Pat Verbeek has definitely shown that he's willing to move on from players who are UFAs. So here's a list of everyone who I think will actually go. As players get closer to the black line, the more likely they will be traded. These three, I give you mine. Charles Barkley, that they are moved. I will say with Shattenkirk, apparently he wants an extension, so if he's not traded, it means he's probably here for the next couple years as well. I also wouldn't be shocked if there's one big move. It's hard to say, but one thing is certain for this Ducks team. We will look really different after the trade deadline. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Do you agree with what I'm saying? Is there anything you would change? Thank you guys for watching, and go Ducks!